Every journey begins with a single choice. A step into the unknown. In the world of crypto, as in life, the road is unpaved, uncertain, and unforgiving. But it is here, in the face of challenge, that true potential is forged. This isn't just about wealth, it's about freedom, about becoming the best version of yourself no matter how far or hard the road may seem. Because success isn't about shortcuts. It's about the discipline, grind, and the vision to see it through. This is your journey. Your chance to break free, to create, conquer, to live beyond limits. Welcome to the Alliance.
The Greys have long mastered space, but now they have mastered value. 2 technologies, 2 power sources, 1 PGGC, the foundation of the Greys' digital economy. 12O, the limitless force that fuels expansion. Powered by Pulse, engineered for those who seek the future. PGGC builds the foundation. UFO breaks the boundaries. Evolve, optimized, ready for the next era. The network expands. The transmission is live. The Greys are watching.
I was sick.
I pushed through when I was tired.
I kept going, even when I had no reason to believe.
I worked. Then I worked some more.
And I kept working. Until I became something greater than I ever imagined. Let's move on to the next target. Doesn't matter how strong or how numerous the enemies. They've all got something to fight for, to protect their family, to uphold their ideals, to prove who they are, to defy fate. Hunters continue to hunt, and not a single one is ready to stop.
I'm not fucking around. I'm here to take over, man. I am not fucking around. Who's got more money than me or skill than me? Who's a better marketer than me? Who's a better debater than me? Nobody. Here's how the math works out. I bought Bitcoin at 30, and it went up to 65,000. And I bought it in 2011, and then it went to 65,000 in 2021. So it took 2 years to go up. Let me do the math. 65K over 30, 2200x. No matter how hard I could have worked in any industry or any endeavor, you can't 2200 fold your money. So to give you an example, right? So if you had like $1 million, and you just 22,000 it, I think it's 22 billion. I'm very sure it's 22 billion. So like if you had $1 million in 2011 and you just held it until this year, you just waited 10 years, you'd have $22 billion. These are real numbers.
It is neat. No joke. Ain't no joke. Good morning, everybody. 6:30 in the morning. Conversation never got boring over here on the West Coast. And hopefully you got your little PC coffee cup, little hat to go along with it, you know, in the morning time, because it's always great. I have one of my greatest friends here with me, one of the developers of X Kong. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good this morning. I was just telling Coach, busy building, always busy building. So, yeah, always new stuff being developed, always cool stuff coming to Pulse Chain, right? Because I think that's what we're here for, is trying to out the chain, make the chain competitive with all the other chains on, or I guess in the world, and making sure Pulse Chain has all the products and features and product market fit that all the blockchains need to have nowadays. So, yeah, be here. And it's a good morning. So,
yeah, it's a good morning. We kind of had a little reversal in the last couple of days, or yesterday, to be 100% blunt about going on with the overall market. But if you are in the Lions group, or you've been watching some of the streams, you can actually understand where there might be a possible pullback in some kind of direction to the downside. And we're going to go over a little bit of that today as well. But before we get into kind of like the TA of like just Bitcoin, the SPY, Ethereum, Pulse Chain in general, Kong, you want to share to like some of the people what basically you've been working on, X Protocol has been kind of like working on as well behind the scenes. You want to share any of that right now, or should we share that at the
Maybe we'll cover some charts and stuff. We can share towards. I'll share towards the end. I'll cover. Ideally, we'll like go through a ton of stuff. But I just want to also build on what you were saying in terms of like the alliance and the private group. And like yesterday was a good day in the market, and then and if anyone isn't aware how the alliance is structured, is there's minimum, like usually minimum every week, 3 calls, Monday, Wednesday, and then is it Thursday or Friday? Usually Thursday or Friday.
Usually it's Thursday. Sometimes I have to switch the day to go Friday, but that's regardless.
Yeah, it's very consistent either way. And essentially yesterday we had saw Bitcoin have its little dip, and I was able to kind of like, and maybe we'll take a little look at the liquidations today, but I was able to kind of take a look at the liquidations and say Bitcoin looks bullish, but these are also some levels that I would look out for. And then now we're here sitting, I think Bitcoin's trading at 107 this morning, which is like right around these levels, like 106, 105, 104, that I potentially put out there for like Bitcoin target zones. And it looks like price came down a little. So for what it's worth, like I think if you are in the alliance, like it's not like, I don't know, it's not like, you know, there's like no expectations, not financial advice or anything like that. But I think you'll have like, it'll be difficult for you to not make the $80 back, or at the very least you'll like in a down, you'll likely store that value in your portfolio, kind of like saving you $80 in that sort of sense. So that's kind of how I look at things.
Yeah, but also it's at the same time, it's like how many different kind of tools we provide for people, you know, especially when it comes to the Empire, like all the trading bot to any kind. So like any kind of CA that gets created, we get notified right away whenever there's an LP pool created by known like developer wallets or something like that. We get notified right away. So for the degens out there, maybe it's not for the maxis, sorry RH Max, but but there's so many different like tools. And then also we have like we put together, which is the balancer, and like the balancer is set up in a similar type of way that like it's the same thing that like Vanguard and Fidelity and bigger institutions when they actually balance their own portfolios, if it's stocks or gold or bonds or anything like that, you can always subjugate, like, I want 50% in stable coins or 50% in cash or something like that. And whenever you want to rebalance the whole ecosystem, it's just like, it's no brainer. And these are the things that we're trying to build upon for everybody here on Poleschain. And we're trying to just grind our asses off into the bull market. So anything you want to say about that in terms of like Fidelity and Vanguard, and you want to kind of explain that a little bit more?
Yeah,
before we get into TA?
Yeah, sure. So, and yeah, to build on what you were saying as well, like there is, like, if you guys find Coach's streams valuable and you do, like, and it seems like there is people watching and they are here, the Alliance has, like, I think the Alliance has even more, like, there's exclusive websites that I don't know if we show on stream, but we do show on in the Alliance and stuff like this. There is like certain features, certain metrics, certain websites that like is for the Alliance people. But to the balancing and to like all that point with Vanguard and everything. So kind of the point is like on Poleschain, what I've realized, and I think what a lot of people have realized as well, is what we've seen is there hasn't been a massive injection of, like, whether it's people or funds or both. And what we're seeing is kind of this rotation of money from, you know, altcoin A to altcoin ecosystem B to altcoin ecosystem C. And usually there is some sort of cycle or some sort of rotation between some of these altcoins on Poleschain. So the balancer is essentially taking a time and tested strategy is used by like institutions like BlackRock and Vanguard and Fidelity, and we'll share the website, which if you guys want to take a look, it's tokentrader.win, and you'll be able to see how essentially you configure your portfolio. You could essentially leave your portfolio alone and just screenshot or take a picture of your current allocations, and then this way, when things start to go on a run and things start to have a pump, you're able to rebalance the things that essentially render into the things that moved less. So essentially giving you kind of a mathematical or systematic approach to have some sort of like strategy logic behind selling things that are relatively high and then buying things that are relatively low. So in markets, we know like that's in a perfect world, you're trying to buy near the bottom and sell near the top, right? But how do you do that? The balancer could be or can be a framework where it helps, it can and it will guide you to show you, you know what, this one has gone up and it's now relatively expensive in your portfolio, time to rebalance and move it into these other things. And it's kind of like Coach was saying, kind of a no-brainer. It's like, it's on the website, and I kind of say it's like, would you rather operate your portfolio off of emotions, or would you rather operate your portfolio off of like a mathematical sort of strategy and kind of framework? So that's kind of how I look at it. So yeah.
Sorry, Connor. I started playing the background music mid-sentence. I bet you were just like, is this music?
No, I thought I had my like turn the speaker on or something.
No, I was like, you know, let's get a little background music. But it's like, do you want to base your portfolio off of emotions? Because like a lot of people are emotional when it comes to their investments. They see a tweet or somebody FUDs or somebody like says X, Y, and Z on its face. You know, it's sometimes to a point where emotions get involved. But sometimes emotions, when you're actually trying to build your future, majority of the time you want something that's going to be realistically giving you mathematical data and kind of like on biases when it comes to anything. So you can put your whole portfolio, it's not going to care which token is like up 1,000%, or if it's like you're just that's like the number one token that you're up against, but it's going to just say sell X amount, and it gives you that exact number. So we're probably going to get into that, but let's go into the TA and actually look at see what the SPY is doing this morning, because I think that's pretty important. So let me show my screen. Put this down here. Perfect. All right. So looking at the opening day on the SP 500, it does look somewhat good. But one of the things that I'm looking at right here, as you can see, the RSI's hit that like 70 points, but also it's at a higher high, but the RSI is in the previous higher high. I'm not like saying in quotations of right here, but majority of the time, what is basically what it's telling me is it's the momentum to the upside is like losing strength. So in understanding that clause and looking at we are over the 200-day moving average, maybe we break down to 5,954, or even back down to something like where the 200-day moving average is going to end off. So it's something that you what I see. What do you kind of like see the same kind of thing going on, Kong?
Sorry, I think my mic was muted there. Yeah, no, I'm seeing the same sort of thing. I'm kind of tracking the same thing on Bitcoin as well. It looks like I don't know, it looks like it's trying to hold support at least above 100,000. And I would like to see it. I would like to see it happen. But
well, it's just like the same. It's the same thing that's happening here. You know, it's like the RSI. So like right here, so everybody can see, this is a higher high, of course. RSI went pretty high, but the next movement up, that was another higher high. And then as you can hear, the RSI level is low. It's a lower high, plus the RSI is in an indicator of it might have some kind of downward consolidation before go to the upside, especially if this crosses to the downside below the yellow line. We might have a couple days, maybe a week or so of consolidation and going to the downside. But that's what you see too, right?
Yeah. Bitcoin, like in the short term, like short term here, it looks like it's gonna have a little retracement, but I am looking at like that 100 zone ideally for support, and then there's a few levels below it, like in the 90s, like 95, even pretty much 95, even below is like 91, that I would like to see hold as support, which it looks like that's like right on your chart as well, like in that little box there. So
well, yeah, looking at like that's the 200-day moving average is at 95,523, so might have that retracement down there, but let's just see how much is that. Is it going to scare some people? Is that going to scare you out there? 10%? We've seen a 10% dip, you know.
That is interesting though, because this level is 95,000, like on the liquidations, 95,556. I wonder if it wicks down to like the 200 moving average there and support level, and then just kind of continues on. But I think that's our that looks like that needs to be our almost our goal for Bitcoin, is it to just find support on that 200-day moving average. So
get all the liquidate or people going long, liquidate them, have the exchanges make all the money, and then they're going to push the price up and then all kind of wreck all the shorts.
But that is interesting though, how like the liquidations, they will match up well with the chart and stuff. And like I think we covered this in the Alliance a little bit. But it just kind of goes to show.
Exactly. So let's take a look at ETH too, and then we'll look at the Bitcoin dominance real fast. But same thing here with ETH, but looking at it, like what is the chart talking to you like right now? In the same kind of that we kind of like give the people in the Alliance. And
sorry, I think I was muted there as well. I look at it, it looks like it's been a little bit stronger than Bitcoin recently. And I was taking a look at the order book in the Alliance the other day as well, and it looked on Ethereum quite bullish. I'm gonna say like it looks like you have that that exact support line where I'd have some like where some of those liquidations are at as well. But that's my level. Like if Bitcoin drops to 95, maybe Ethereum back there at that blue support, like that diagonal one there. But I am cautiously optimistic on Ethereum here, and it has like I've been looking at ETH BTC, and that chart looks like it bottomed out and is starting to have even this chart looks extremely bullish. So
like in the weekly, when was the last time we passed the 200-day moving average? About like freaking 6 months ago, dude. If you really think of it, or we went below, actually, that's technically. So it's been, how long has it been? How many days? What is this going to tell me? 133 days. It's crazy to think about.
I was mentioning in the Alliance that there's a ton of like liquidity in the order book and like liquidations on Ethereum around $3,000 for what it's worth as well. And it looks like we're trying to get above that at 200. I'd like to see it close a few candles above there, or at least a candle above there, and start to print the next one. I think if we do that, then I think you're looking at like $3,000 Ethereum.
Yeah, and it's just like after that actually happens, what do you think is going to be the antidote going forward in the future? It's like, come on, guys.
That's a good point. Like even with Pulse Chain recently, we've seen it. Yesterday, I think I was watching it was moving up. Like that's the thing. It's moving, whether it's every single day acting as like a 2x leverage ETF on Ethereum is not like, it's not really the point. But it is moving with the general market, and this is one thing we've been tracking in the Alliance as well. But it's kind of like looking at the movements of Pulse Chain relative to like the other altcoins and kind of like the altcoin season index, and trying to help position ourselves and position our portfolios to take profits when things are a little hot and stuff, which is I think also what the balance area, which I think we'll get into later. So
well, since I went over the kind of PA of like ETH, Bitcoin, you want to pull up maybe some Pulse Chain and go over some of the charts over there real quick before we move on. Perfect. Calling you muted.
My bad. I might just stop muting my mic here because I keep on.
That's why I stopped doing it. You know, it's just like if I make a little peep, it's all good.
Yeah, we'll check out Hex here. I will say like a lot of these core tokens actually they like, especially I think PulseX is one that looks very strong as a core token. I might cover the core tokens and then we'll do some altcoins on Pulse Chain. But taking a look at Hex here, like this is one of the things in the Alliance a little bit, and it's especially helpful when we have like these little, like after a little dip and we have kind of a nice little pump after. But you can see Hex recovered up to its 236, which is on par with a lot of altcoins. I'm not like, there was coins on Pulse Chain that recovered up to their 0.5, 0.6, 0.3, but I will say like on average most coins recovered up to their 236. Looks like the cores did as well, and we'll pull up PulseX here as well. Yeah, and even PulseX looks, I think PulseX looks even more, has a little more of a bullish chart than Hex. But yeah, you can take a look from this December 2024 high, and like even if we measure from these highs in 2025 to this bottom here, and when was this? I think March, April time, and then this recovery was all the way up to its 618 on PulseX, which is like, I don't know, we just saw Hex recovered up to 236 here, so not as well, but this is kind of one thing we at least one of the things you'll kind of track in the alliance as kind of markets evolve. And like I have a ton of different analysis that I do surrounding like the chart, and like what I'll say as well is like, if you ever like if you're ever not sure about like TA and you don't necessarily know how to do TA or recharts, like this is, I think, what me and coach, like this is what we do. So if you come into the alliance with a chart, like I like to be able to tell you if it's like if it's a positive chart, or if it's something that I would keep on the watch list but not necessarily buy, or if it's just something that I would stay away from. But we'll take a look at the meme coin Your Mom here, because I think this one was one we were tracking in the alliance, and we said that like based off art is one that you'd probably want to get into. And we can see that it had a little retracement here, but it's gone on to make new all-time highs, which is another thing we're looking for in the alliance. And like, I'll say is like, I think the alliance is like what would you say, coach? Like kind of a safe degen group. Like I wouldn't say we're like full. I don't know if we're full degens. There probably is like some, but I think it is like.
I think I would call it a country club of degen groups.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, but I think the goal is like we're not trying to wreck anyone. It's not like we're posting every ticker that like comes off cross, right? Like there is there is like a vetting sort of, you know, a vetting, kind of thing in the group. So we don't it's not like that, but yeah, your mom here it's been one that's performing, and we kind of talk about this in the alliance, is like which coins should you be in if you don't have an allocation already, and then which coins is like should you keep watch list, and then which coins should you just probably ignore, right? And then all the guys in the alliance, like they know and whether or not like whether all the coins go up 100x, like we're waiting for Pulse Chain. But at least kind of the point is like, I think in the alliances we're trying to pick the coins on Pulse Chain that kind of move up the most, right? And like kind of have that X factor, which is even partially what PTGC is as well. But cover X. Oh yeah, here's X. We've said on or in the alliance as well, but this is like the type of chart you're looking for in terms of like new all-time highs. Now we're on a slight retracement, but if you take a look at the X chart, and this is another thing that we look at in the alliance as well, is like in the alliance, I will say is like we weren't, at least like I wasn't really telling people to like, we weren't telling people to buy really on the way down so much as we were kind of showing to like buy really at the lows. So that's another good point as well, as like if your market awareness is like buying the dip all the way down and you're kind of losing a little bit of funds, like in the alliance, like we kind of watched this happen in real time, and then we were ready to buy the dip like as soon as the things kind of got in our value zones. But this is another thing we're talking about in terms of like, here's the low, and then here's the higher low, and then we'll see what happens if this continues and makes like a new higher high, and then maybe it has a retrace, makes a higher low again. But yeah, this is the type of thing is like we'll go through the charts on Pulse Chain and we'll watch for like which ones have like bullish structure and like which ones are continuing to perform, and like which ones do we need to like drop and then move on to the next in case of like kind of performance issues, right? Because that's one thing that at least I kind of preach in the alliance is like, especially in the balancer, which we'll get to in a little bit, is you want to be on the fastest moving, right? And this is partially why I think PTGC is so great. It's because there's like nothing that can compete with it. Maybe for short spurts of time something can outperform PTGC, but over the long run it seems like it has been king. I think X actually might be the one token that has come close to come close to competing with PDGC, and I think it's actually still being competitive with PDGC to this day. So,
but Kong, he's only riding PDGC because of the liquidity.
No, let me invert the chart and then what do you call it? Invert the chart and then I'll post the wrong one and then I'll say that PDGC here.
No. We don't need to be saying all that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Sometimes people make mistakes, you know.
No, it's all good, but yeah. X here, like, even look at this is like, you can see we had this box here, like kind of like drawn out the lows even here on this ratio, and then we also have this like ape and heavy kind of like level, and it's drawn out on the chart, right? Like this is like already drawn out on the chart, and like pretty much price came right into this box. Now we're right out. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. Like Coach says, let's take a look and read a book. But plus 75% versus PDGC, right? So I mean, there probably is a few tokens in like this period amount of time, but I think X, especially consistently over the long run, and you can see how this chart has started to form. Like this is, I don't know, looks a bit like the cup
for me. Like, honestly, for me, I want this chart just to look like exactly like this. So it would be like the biggest, easiest balancer. But at the same time, I understand supply and demand. So there's less tokens of X for a reason, which is getting burnt on a daily basis. But Coach, how do you burn zero tax tokens? I'm just playing. I know why. But yeah, let's go over show a couple of the updates and stuff like that you got to show.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, the X protocol site got a little update. You can see like we got the price up here as well on the site and in the nav there, pretty cool. And then speaking of X burn, you can also check this out as well in the protocol section. You guys can go to the X burn analytics, and yeah, tons of cool stuff there. I think also on the overview you can see it as well, and then there's tons of other stats as well on here if you guys are going to take a look. But it's mostly, I would say, the main page that I think most of the people look at, and kind of put an update on this one recently. But yeah, this one just got a little bit of a overview and kind of a rewording, on the site and stuff. But I think this site it should be a lot clearer for onboards and stuff. And even I think if you share it around with your friends, I think it'll be a little more concise on what it is. But yeah, you can read through here, connect to all these tokens built by Coach X, who delivered. And I think it was more than 280x rise. It was way more than 280x rise in 2024. But after that, you gotta have the 28 and then the 88 there and then the 8 there. So
888.
Yeah, like little numerology stuff there. So,
but hey,
and then
I don't believe in numerology, but I think it's cool. No. It's a good narrative.
It's a cool story. Cool story.
Come on, RH.
But yeah. I don't even know why he would say that. But whatever. So,
but it's kind of funny.
Yeah, why buy X protocol as well? 0 buy sell tax, high liquidity altcoin, especially compared to like a lot of things on Pulse Chain. I don't even want to talk about some of these coins because it's like I don't even want to talk about them. But there is like some launching recently, and I think they're being talked about, and like there's like 10k, 15k liquidity on like these supposedly legit projects, which is like you should really have more backing your project in the right. And at least in my opinion, like if I'm looking at a project, like that's, in my opinion, I think there should be more in the pools backing it. But you can see X here, 170k in the Pulse pool. So that's plenty, right? Like that money. 162k in the PDGC pool. This ORD might be reading incorrectly.
That's wrong.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how much exactly is in this pool.
The price of X is $34.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens one day, you know? But it's just forecasting.
It might be. But yeah. But real quick, let's go over UFO real quick. because I kind of want to look at that chart.
You see, this is an excellent chart as well.
Actually, like in the consolidation phase, it's just showing a higher high or a higher lows or higher highs. My bad.
Not as well.
For the most part.
Here, a higher, like, here's the kind of, we could say this is wick low, and then here you can have a higher low, candle close, higher low again, and then here we have higher highs, and then we'll see if we continue this, and like if we get some higher highs, and then maybe some higher lows as well. But either way, yeah, like this is like go on, and we've done this in the Alliance for like hours and hours and stuff. But if you go onto the Pulse chain and you do this, it's like not every chart is going to look like this. And like what we do is like kind of micro analyze it for like, is the market actually bidding up this token, or are people leaving it alone? Is the narrative over? Is it going to continue on? And you can kind of see, or you kind of make inferences of these like questions based off just the chart. So
Yep, I agree. Well, I think that's a little good amount of TA. So what do we want to do next? The balancer, or should we? What do you think, bud?
I'll do like 2 or 3 minutes on the balancer, and then we can do looking at PTGC if you want, or you cover something else.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, sweet. If you guys don't know already, there is the portfolio balancer. I'm gonna cover this in like 2 or 3 minutes, like I was saying. So we were talking about this earlier. It's like, who do you institutional strategy proven by BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, decades of research, rules-based approach, or emotional decisions, right? And then you can read this quote here from Benjamin Graham, but it's like, an investor's chief problem and worst is likely to be yourself, just like through your emotions and like trading and all that type of stuff. But yeah, here's kind of like the baseline portfolio. You can also go to like the portfolio tab. This is just to briefly touch on it, is a regular portfolio tracker. So if you enter a wallet address here, you can see what's inside of the wallet. But this is the actual balancer portion, and you'll just have to switch it over up top here. And right now it's like I have this one configured, and it's dynamic, right? You can add anything. Like here I just added cash, and then let's say I want to take a little percent from most and then add a little percent to cash. You can see how I just did that, and then now it's telling me to like do these different rebalance amounts, right? And then also if I scroll down, this is like, I'll say this is probably once you have your portfolio set up, the only thing you need to do is come to this website, scroll down, open up this page, and then see if your rebalance volume is like roughly 10% or more of your portfolio value. And if it is, then do what it tells you to do in terms of buying. What I do is sell what it tells me to sell, right? So sell everything it tells me to sell, and then use those funds to buy whatever it tells me to buy. And then that's all you do. And then once you're done, you come up here, you click rebalance. It'll tell you, confirm. Did you make sure to like buy Pulse, sell PTGC, sell, buy, sell, buy? And then assuming you did all that, you would just hit confirm. And then now your portfolio would be rebalanced. And then effectively all you would need to do is make sure, like, if this website is showing 102 million here, that you have like roughly 103 million or whatever. It doesn't need to be exactly to the decimal or anything like that, but I do say it's like, make sure it's not like, I don't know, $1,000 off or $100 off on like a portfolio like this, right? But if it's like $10, it's not a big deal. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all it is. And now in theory, this portfolio has been rebalanced, and then we can just go on with our day. And I'll just end off on the whole site with like this is like, there's guides here, and you guys can take a look at like essentially rebalanced returns versus unbalanced returns. And kind of the point is here is the blue is rebalance returns, and you can kind of see how it provides a tighter spread, meaning that there is less volatility while still returning as much or even more than a balanced or than an unbalanced portfolio. So yeah, I hope that all like made sense. And like, if anything, what I would do is just download these off the site, and then you can upload them into like ChatGPT or Grok, and then you could just ask questions and say, is rebalancing good, or like, how can I rebalance, or here's this website, and does rebalancing, would it work the same way the Vanguard guide does it, or how could I do it the same way Vanguard does it? And you could easily get ChatGPT to kind of even help you with the balancer and balancing and stuff. But yeah, also a Fidelity guide in case you guys are interested in this as well. But same thing, rebalancing helps reduce volatility, and it's like in theory as well, and in practice, like it will still return you as much with it while reducing your volatility of like, especially to the downside. So that's pretty much like the quick overview of it and stuff. So
and it's just like in the alliance too, it's just I went over I have like three different wallets that have that I do rebalance. One of them is on a basis. I rebalance my portfolio. The second one I rebalance on a weekly basis in that portfolio, and then another one I rebalance every single month. And I'll keep all the different kind of percentages and how do I usually like do those type of balancers and or not balancers, but like the different wallets, what kind of like percentage I want in stables, what percentage I want in X, Y, and Z. And majority of the time it's it's most likely PulseX, Hex, PHEX. What else? And then some of the more like risk on type of plays, it's kind of like, I even have a Tropo, one of my like a little portfolios things, but we're not going to be talking about that today. So, but here, let's go to the next little category that we're going to be talking about. We've been working on and looking to PTGC.
Yeah, and I'm excited to show this off. Actually, I don't know if I've showed it on him yet. This is the new yields calculator for looking at PTGC. It is a paid feature. There is a chance that I might make it free for the next like 24 hours or something. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoKong145. Maybe if you check this website, I'll add like a banner or something on it. If I end up like turning it free, just for like a little bit. But yeah, I want people to try it out and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. It is dynamic on the day, so you can come in here on like, I don't know, any given day that you feel like, I guess, that you want to check the yield for, and you can type in however many PTGC tokens you want to calculate the yield for. So if I have, I don't know, let's say you have 10 million PTG, I think that's 10 million. That's not 10 million. I think we need one more zero. So yeah, let's say you have 10 million PTGC, and then you come down here, it'll tell you your APY, not necessarily your real ROI, but your actual APY based off your daily yield here, and you can see that, and you can see your monthly yield, and you could also see your yearly yield based off your token amount and your current value there. And there's also a cool chart here that will show you the kind of compounding effect. Now, the cool feature on this site is that there's also a kind of a moon math calculator for this. So what I can do is, like, let's say I want to calculate the APY based off of $500,000 in volume a day. It'll tell me, right, 2% or just under 2% APY based on 24 hours of volume. And it'll also show me a very good graphic with my PTG tokens and my yield and all my APYs and like all that type of stuff in the graphic as well. So yeah, this is the new addition, or not really the new addition, because we had all these features on the site before, but I think I just made it a lot more simple and easy to use
and
pretty. Yeah, it doesn't look like it feel like it looked like a strip mall before, and now it looks like now looks like a nice
Country
resort.
club.
Yeah, or country club. So country club resort. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. And then I might we're not going to cover UFO because if you want to check out that stuff for yourself, like I said, I might either make it free to come to the site for yourself, or the site has paid features as well. So I mean, you can come over here and you can upgrade. And let me go to the get premium here. But yeah, you can see there's it's $24 a month for full access to the site, all the PDGC stats, all the pages, everything. You get instant access via email. So as soon as you sign up, you can get your login immediately. No need to wait around for like customers, or like not like I don't need to provide you your login. So there's no need to wait on me or anything like that. And you can get all this information and stuff. Yeah, just make sure you sign up with an email that you actually have access to, so you can receive your login, and you guys can you can get access to all that information. But what I will say is UFO has been burning, or it used to at least, and it has been, at least still recently, it has been yielding more than PDGC. Whether or not that's still true to this day, it's like maybe you'll have to come on the site and check it out for yourself. But I think it's definitely worth it if you're aware of the system, because you can make, like, if you pay attention and you watch the metrics and you know what to look for as well, you can sort of see what's happening behind the scenes, and like whether you should even be like kind of weighted towards PDGC or weighted towards UFO even. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just like for us, we're just trying to build as many different tools for Poleshane, for PGC holders, for all the degens, everybody out there. And it's like, dude, Kong, are we stopping anytime soon?
No, I don't think so. Probably not, So.
And I might have a little like teaser for people in the future. There might be another person that might possibly join the team of X Protocol, but I'm not going to say any names. Still working on some things in the background, and I'm still talking with them, getting them 100% vetted and everything. So it's going to be kind of cool. And you never know what's going to be built in the future, and anybody that wants like a Web3, Web2, or Web3, Web2 protocol, or even a project build out, or a new like merch store that you want to create, or if you want to.
I was gonna say, people don't realize is we can build them anything. And it doesn't need to be a smart contract. It doesn't need to be a token. It doesn't need to be anything like in specific, right? Like I'm my understanding is we could build you anything you guys want. So like Coach is saying, a website, merch site, I don't know, whatever computer science thing you need, like we can do it for you. So yeah,
it's gonna be a fun little next couple months, but just remember, so looking at, let's see, did the SPY move down a little bit more today? No, it's popping actually, hold on. Let's take a look and read a book. I think we're still chilling like a little villain here with looking at the SPY. I know I wasn't showing my chart, but one of the things that I would actually want to go over to and trying to see where we are possibly going to go in the near future. So let's look at Pulse. So Pulse right here, right now, as you can see, it's moving with the trend to a T. And understanding where we're at right here and looking at the eye, it's like, what do you think is going to be happening now? Do we have some more downward pressure? Of course, maybe, but that's going to be dependent on Ethereum. So if Ethereum starts moving up, Pulse chain will move up regardless of your opinions about it, regardless of what you think about it. It's called Hart's Law for a reason, and it's been factually true this whole entire time. And people would be like, well, Ethereum was moving sideways right here. Pulse chain moved down. It's like when the liquidity amount on Pulse chain is at these levels, the volatility is going to be a little bit more and greater. And everybody knows that Ethereum is a lot more here. So it's harder to move it to the downside and it's harder to move it to the upside. But with the amount of liquidity that Pulse chain has been doing, you can see that it can have those type of 73% movements to the upside. Let's see. How many days were this? Let's see. Actually, this is an 80% movement in 19 days. Let's see, the all-time lows to the all-time, that's 130%. So it's like, why are so many people just bitching and complaining out there? I'm not saying everybody, but they are. But at the same time, I just want you guys to realize, what direction do you think this is actually going to go? Once everything starts moving, once everything starts going into the right direction, and looking at the Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, look, very high RSI. Try to get a little bit past it. Momentum fell. So what do you think? What kind of direction will this ultimately do? Same thing like right here. Higher high. The next one try to go back up. It got crushed. Okay. It didn't get crushed, but you can see in terms of the RSI trying to make another higher high, that momentum was shot and moved to the downside. So hopefully everybody has a good amount of patience when it comes to the future. So is there any other points that you want to go over?
That's a good question. I think I'll just say, I think people will be very surprised in terms of like how everything matures on X protocol and surrounding the X protocol and everything going on here. But yeah, in terms of like the markets or any like websites or anything, I think most of the stuff is saving for the Alliance as well. But yeah, like next time I'm on stream, we'll dive more in depth. But yeah,
I need to get Spy on here to go over all the cool little lots and everything.
Yeah, he needs to show him off more. So
yeah, he does. I need to tell that guy, but he does. He's a hard worker, and he has a lot of work in the upcoming months in terms of working on the bots, working on the Telegram, and I'm just not going to say anything else besides that. But you want to land the plane right here? I think this is a good landing the plane spot.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know. I think I like to keep the streams like not too long or anything like that. So
yeah. So with that being, guys, I'm going to be talking like almost like in like 25 minutes at 7:45 in the Alliance. Here, actually, let's just, because everybody doesn't know about it, so let's actually go find it. Where is it? So this is alliancex.com, alliancex.com home. You can see what kind of information that we provide about us. If you want to learn about all those things, and then of course the memberships, the country club membership. So if you just want the Alliance, you want to hear me and Kong speak and kind of go over and little conversations in the group, or you can just have the Empire, or just have the Empire with the bots, with all the CAs that drop or gets launched, and then also you can take a look and read a book. You have access to look into ptgc.com. So if you want both, you actually get a better deal. Look at that. what a concept, guys. And this kind of like goes over a little bit more extensively what it like all the bots that are provided and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people were actually reaching out to me like, Coach, why don't you just do this for free? And I was like, dude, what? This is called capitalism. And I feel like my time is valuable, Kong's time is valuable, Spy's time is valuable, and I appreciate people that provide value and know that, and that needs to happen when it comes to building. Because of course, we love Polishing and everything like that, but we also have bills, you know, and we kind of like do this for a living. So, respect. So, are you ready to plan, dude?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, hey guys, like I said, I'm going to be going over a lot of things, or not a lot of things, but I'm actually going to be going over a lot of meme tokens on Polishing, giving you my personal, honest opinion about all those things. So, it's going to be a pretty good VC. Also, I'm going to be streaming today at 9 o'clock Pacific time, and I'm gonna not share, but it's gonna be Max is in the trenches. So basically I'm gonna be the first live guest on that channel. And if you really want to get to know me, he's going to be going over a lot of, I don't know, not really personal, or kind of like personal questions. So you get to get to know me a little bit, and some people don't really know what I've been through and how I got to this point. So it's going to be a great little stream that we're going to be putting together. And if you want to be there, it's going to be cool. But any last words, Kong?
No, I think I would just make sure to tune in to that. I think it's with Blockhead, right?
Blockhead, yep.
Yeah, make sure to tune into that, because I think it's going to be a new series, is my understanding, and it should be something that, like, I think it should be a good series on Polishing. If you catch it early, you might be able to say it's like you got into a meme coin early, but it's like a show. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah. Well, guys, you guys have a great rest of your weekend, or not weekend, your Thursday, and I will be.
So it's almost the weekend.
I know, right? It feels like the weekend. Well, honestly, I was sick for like 5 days last week, so like all my days are mixed up. So it's been kind of crazy and nuts. Hey, John, that's good for you, bro. But all right, guys, we'll talk to you guys later, and have a great day.
Every journey begins with a single choice. A step into the unknown. In the world of crypto, as in life, the road is unpaved, uncertain, and unforgiving. But it is here, in the face of challenge, that true potential is forged. This isn't just about wealth. It's about freedom. About becoming the best version of yourself, no matter how far or hard the road may seem. Because success isn't about shortcuts. It's about the discipline, the grind, and the vision to see it through. This is your journey. Your chance to break free, to create, to conquer, to live beyond limits. Welcome to the Alliance.